Hey Taurus, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. General reading. Take what works, leave what doesn't. Not every sentence I speak in this reading is going to resonate with you, so just take what's useful to you now and leave the rest. Don't try to squeeze any interpretations out of it that aren't coming naturally. We're going to be doing Oracle deck reading over here with these cards, and then we're going to go over to Vimeo if you so choose, and we'll do a more traditional tarot spread. We've got a whole flock of our urban crows coming out here. Fun! Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we'll save the best for last. Okay, Taurus, there's something happening in your routine, something that you've gotten used to. We've got routine here. Something that you've gotten used to, very comfortable routine, go to work, come home. And whether or not you go to work and come home, this is about something that's got that element to it, that aspect to it, that I mean, it drives me crazy, routine does, but lots of people enjoy that trudge, that routine. So this has to do with your routine. There's some kind of warning about your routine coming in here, right? We've got a fire, we've got smoke, we've got this bird letting us know that there's something we need to see, there's something you need to open up your eyes to. Maybe there's some part of this routine that there might be a part of this routine that isn't good for you, or isn't, that needs you to kind of wake up out of the routine. Because this, to me, this kind of routine feels a little sleepy to me. There's a little something about, like, you've gotten into a rut, you've gotten into routine. There might be something that you do routinely, and seems very, I feel like you wouldn't question it. It's like, this is, you don't even think like, this is what I do. It's just what you do, right? And as part of this routine, I feel like there's a little bit of a lulled into a sense of routine or something like that. We have a warning coming in here that I feel like there's some part of this that needs to be broken up. There's some part of this that needs to be switched up, and this is being brought to your attention right now for a reason. So there's something in it that's not gonna get you, I feel like, where you want to go. There's something that you do routinely and regularly. It's part of your routine, and that seems like normal. People have routines, right? It's normal, but there's something here that's like, hello, you need to wake up a little bit about some part of your routine. I feel like at this point in the reading, you have an idea of what I'm talking about. There's some part that it is, right, it's your norm, it's your routine, but you're getting this warning here that this part of the routine, not the whole routine, just a part of the routine, isn't in your highest good, isn't for your best good. So these little crows are looking out for you. They're giving you a warning here about there's something you need to wake up and see. Like, there's this like pre-dawn hours here. Wake up. There's something here that you need to pay attention to. There's something here that you need to see. Something's not right. So you're getting the warning. All right. I feel like this resistance is you resisting the warning, resisting the shift in the routine, resisting something. Like, normally I would get this card and I would see like, oh, you're facing some resistance. I feel like a lot of the resistance you might be facing is from within. It's from inside of you. That's like, this is, I don't want to do that. Nope. That internet YouTube tarot lady can give me all the warnings she wants. No. So there's resistance. I feel like it's internal. I feel like you are fighting against yourself here. I feel like you might be your own worst enemy here. There's something that's just, this is just what you do. And definitely, Taurus, you may be much more into routine than I am. This resistance is coming at you. You've got a bit of a headwind, though. I think this is saying, like, whatever's shifting in your routine, you're making it harder than it needs to be. It is harder than it needs to be. Because you've already got some sort of inner warning, but you're fighting it, you're resisting it. That's funny, because I do see that you are the one resisting. It's not external, it's internal. And maybe this has to do with it, displacement. Maybe part of your routine is about stressors, is a response to stress, and you shift the blame onto something else. And maybe you, maybe you're shifting the blame onto your environment, and this is here to say the call is coming from inside the house. It's not your environment here that's causing a problem. It's you. And you might be blaming something else. You might be this displacement. Like this car, as far as we know, according to this card, didn't do anything. They're frustrated about something else. Like maybe their favorite pizza joint closed and they can't get their favorite pizza anymore, and they're taking it out on the wrong thing. They're mad at the wrong thing here. Upset with the wrong thing. And I'm so sorry, Taurus, but that's how this reading's coming in. You need to be sort of a little bit more upset with yourself. And watch who you're taking out your aggression on and your frustration on. I mean, maybe you are getting like a bit of a headwind externally too. But you need to figure out who you're mad at. And it's not that they're blameless, or what you're upset about. And it's not that the externals are blameless. Man, Taurus, it's just that, or maybe you have a habit of transferring your emotions onto something else, of transferring. Maybe this is a habit. Maybe part of your routine is blaming somebody else for your problems, taking out your issues on something else. Like, I just keep thinking of like habits that we have. Like if you're a smoker, right? We can blame the fact that your roommate's also a smoker, or you grew up in a house full of smokers, or but in essence, at the end of the day, it's really you. And maybe there's a part of this too, this displacement, where you start smoking when there's stressors in your life. There are different things. Sometimes people don't experience their emotions as emotions. They show up first as behaviors, like, oh my gosh, I'm smoking again. Wait a minute, what am I stressed out about? Because this isn't normal. This is a break in my routine. So maybe there's a break in the routine. There's something about your routine that's trying to get your attention. But there is, you always go back to smoking again when you're stressed like this. And maybe you're pretending not to be stressed like this, but if you were to look between your index finger and your middle finger, you might find a cigarette, surprisingly, there. So that cigarette thing is meant as an analogy. Some of you it'll actually be literal, but some of you it's going to be just an analogy here, right? Because we've got the smoke here. I guess that's what's getting me to pay attention to we've got smoke. It's a very smoky, and the smoke is creating a headwind. Look at all that smoke coming at you, creating a headwind. But it is that sort of thing where, once you get really stressed, you might start smoking, or you might start drinking more. You might start, I don't mean to just be those, there's so many things like obsessing, or different physical tics, or like if you have OCD or something like that, you'll notice that kind of routine and repetitiveness is coming up. But it's meant to, not all the time, but it's meant to, here we're talking about some sort of habit or routine like that coming up to let you know that there's a bigger stressor behind it. And so you may be frustrated at this smoking habit, I can't kick it. Well, let's look at what triggered that. What's going on that the smoking is covering up, that the smoking, you're frustrated at this habit, at this routine. This almost feels like the devil energy as far as obsessions or lack of freedom. Like what's triggering this? Don't get so, this reading looks like, don't get so upset at the habit that it's triggered, or the resurgence of a habit that it's triggered. Look more deeply at what happened before that. Why would you be returning to smoking right now? Why would you be wanting to have a drink right now? Looking at, and it's going to be very different for everybody, but some sort of habit here, it's a warning that there's some other stressor underneath it. So you may just be frustrated at the habit showing up again, but it's here to tell you that there's a bigger stressor looming that you might not be looking at, or you might not be seeing. So there's something about your routine. yeah, a habit that you may have returned to, but it's here. It's not the habit you need to be looking at. It's the motivation. It's the emotions behind the habit. You may be trying to fight this, like, oh, I shouldn't be smoking. And this is telling you it's not, the smoking's not the problem. It's before that. It's something else that's the problem. The smoking's just the indication of the problem. It's just the, right, the canary in the coal mine is basically what we have right here. And that canary is not the problem. The problem isn't that the canaries died in the coal mine. The problem is the toxic fumes, right? So we can look at the canary and be frustrated about the canary dying and what's causing that, and why did this canary have to go up and die, and the grief around that and all of that. But the real issue is that there's toxic stuff coming up from your mind, from your subconscious, there's something down there that's coming up. And don't be concerned about the smoking. Be concerned about what's causing you to return to the self-destructive habit. There, I got it out. And then we have soar. So I like this because this is the opposite of resistance. This is, I feel like once you get clarity on why this habit has re-emerged, why this is re-triggered, once you get clarity, and it doesn't even have to be like this long process. It could be just like this moment of like, oh, yeah, I'm stressed about that. Okay, let's go deal with that. This now becomes super easy to deal with. You don't need to have this cover up habit or this, and I don't mean to demean anyone's like serious issues or whatever, but that's what the reading is telling me right now. So take it or not. But I feel like once you understand, once you see, it's displaced anxiety, it's displaced fear, it's displaced, I'm upset about the wrong thing, or not the wrong thing, but you know, I'm upset about the smoke when I should be upset about the fire. I'm worried about the smoke, but it's only an indication that there's fire. So once you get clear on that, I feel like it's smooth sailing. I feel like you know what to do, you know who to call, you know what supports you need, you know, and you can go directly to it. You get this clarity and this ease of movement. Right now, there's a lot of resistance, but that's because you're looking at the smoke. Once you look at and you're like, the smoke, we gotta get some fans in here or something, right? What you need is a fire truck, though. So you can that fan's just gonna fan the flames, right? Especially if you're like, feeling guilty about something or feeling bad about something. And then you start, smoking, and then you feel bad about smoking. Well, that's gonna just make you smoke more, right? If the trigger for the smoking is feeling guilty, then smoking and feeling bad about it is just good. So once you get to the root of the problem, I think you know what the solution is, and it's smooth sailing from there. You'll know exactly what to do, exactly what to handle, how to handle it, All right. Okay, we have Listen and Miss Sunshine. Both of these reference rising up. So I also feel like this is getting to the root of the issue here. You may need to meditate on it, think about it, right? But getting to the root of a problem, of an issue. Really listening, I think, too. It's called listen. And I always see this as listening to what's not being said, listening to what's beneath the surface. And again, I'm not sure what more message we're going to get out of here. It's just going to, because it's so clear to me, but we'll see what other cards come up. But, so listening to what's below the surface. We've got the smoke, typically should be up on the surface here, but the artist flipped it. We've got smoke up here. What's beneath that smoke is fire. What's the root of the problem? Getting to the root of the problem. I think this actually is going to involve you listening to yourself. You going deeper and deeply listening to yourself, to what's beneath the problem, because the problem is just the smoke. We want to deal with the fire, right? You bring in a fan to clear out the smoke, you're going to make the fire worse. So the solution to the problem that we see is possibly going to make the actual problem worse. So this is about going deeper to what's actually really bothering you. What's beneath all of this? What's behind the smoking? What's behind the resurgence in these behaviors? What's behind that? Because, yeah, what is it? Like the wrong cure is worse than the disease, something like that, right? Like if you don't have cancer, you should not be taking chemo because it's not going to help. And it's going to make things worse, right? Chemo is like very specific to a specific thing. And if you take it for a cold, you're going to make the problem it's going to be worse. So you want to make sure you have the proper diagnosis, and the proper diagnosis is beneath the surface. What we're seeing up here is just a symptom. You have to go beneath the surface here, get to the root of the problem. Miss Sunshine. So as you are getting better, as you're more and more able to see things and deal with things, a lot from the subconscious is going to start to emerge. This whole process, the sunshine, being able to be more positive, raising your vibration, getting better at something, all of this starts to come into light more. And so this process, it's very important to have unconditional love. As you're getting to the root of the problem, you have to have some unconditional love for yourself, because you're going to be seeing parts of yourself that maybe you don't want to see. As you get beneath the problem, as you go beneath the surface, as you look for the fire that the smoke is indicating, then you're going to see, right, the smoke's going to clear, and you're going to see what some of the genuine problems are. They may be structural problems in your life. They may be problems and issues with yourself. But unless you approach with unconditional love, it makes it very hard to see those parts of yourself that you keep hidden, that you have shame over. It's like, right, the thing I was saying about shame and guilt. And then if you turn to a habit that creates more shame and guilt, you're not healing the shame and guilt at all. You're layering on it. So dealing with shame and guilt requires a lot of self-love and a lot of, because that's the only thing that makes you willing to see those parts that actually need to be changed. So you would sound crazy if you were like, the solution to the smoke is water. Everyone's going to be like, what are you talking about, right? But it is water, because that's the fire. So the solution to what you're dealing with, you're trying to treat a symptom, and you got to treat the disease, right? And the treating the symptom could actually, what I'm seeing here, make the disease kind of worse. So once you get the disease, once you understand what it is, it's going to be easier, and you're going to be able to go more directly to it. But so this is about like having that self-love, to be able to see below your own surface as to what's really causing you a problem, and then dealing with that. All right, let's take an animal here. I think we've got this message here. Sassy skunk. Effectiveness. That's what I see about sassy skunk is very effective, right? That's what I see about this, is this, we want to be effective. As we approach a problem, we want to be effective. And if we're just looking at the surface of the problem, if we're looking at the smoke and trying to solve the smoke, we're going to be actually extremely ineffective at dealing with the fire beneath it. So effectiveness, passivity, prudence. Yes, I'd say definitely be taking some care with this situation, because if you want to rush in, like this resistance tells me that rushing into something is just going to make it worse. Rushing in with a solution to the smoke is going to make the fire worse. So I think being very prudent, being very careful, and almost surgical precision in dealing with what the problem is, because we don't want to fan the flames, right? Carefree critter of the woods, grab the attention of all those around. Oh. Okay. Well, this is a really confounding little message here. I liked the prudence. I liked the effectiveness. I mean, I guess you don't want to go spraying stuff around if you don't have to. You don't want to make the problem worse. But this skunk wants to get the attention. I don't know. There's almost like where there's smoke, there's fire. So if you smell a skunk, there might be a skunk nearby. It's again this like odor going on here, this smoke. And maybe like if the skunk sprays, don't get mad at the skunk, get mad at the dog that jumped on the skunk. or the, you know, whatever. Don't get mad at the skunk. Skunk's just doing what skunk's going to do. Look at what's triggering the skunk. And maybe you do need to let people know what's going on here. That's possible. Sassy skunk. All right, reminds me of Pepe Le Pew, right? Ew, Pepe Le Pew. What kind of comic was that? Wild stuff that some of us grew up with. All right, well, Taurus, I will see you over in on Vimeo if that's what you want. If not, we'll chat later.